Here with Nick and Annika, the creative team of Gen Z the Musical. Can you tell us more about what you're doing?
So I'm Annika. I co-wrote the musical with Nick, and I'm also directing the show.
I'm Nick. I co-wrote the musical with Annika. I'm music directing the show.
And what was the process like of making the show?
Well, we had written a few little mini musicals before, and what we would usually do is Annika would come up with some lyrics and melodies, and then we'd sit down at the piano and we'd slap some chords under it. And we'd work it a few times, and then we'd have a song in half an hour. And so that was kind of the process with this. And then writing dialogue, we would just write dialogue.
We mapped out the scenes and how we wanted the characters to be and the script to go and the plot and everything. And then we took the time to write that out.
Yeah, it was this needs to happen, and this needs to happen, and this needs to happen. Now how do we get from the start to the end of the scene?
And some of it was fitting certain songs that we already had written into it, and some of the songs came after we wrote the script.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's about?
So Gen Z is about our generation, where we come after millennials, and high school today, and we wanted it to be a more accurate representation of high school than certain TV shows, movies, musicals, and other things that are set in high school tend to be, because those shows and movies tend to be written by and played by people who aren't in high school, so they're not as accurate.
So how did you guys work your way up from mini musicals to a full-blown production?
Well, when we wrote our mini musicals, they were just for fun, and we would perform them for Nick's parents and his siblings and assorted pets. But this one, I remember I asked Nick if he would want to write a full-length musical, and he was like, yes. And I don't know if we either thought that, or I don't know if we knew that it was actually going to take off and we were actually going to be able to do it. But once we had the idea, it kind of just kept rolling, and we had some really good songs, I think. And yeah, it kind of just took off from there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How did you guys get people to join your production?
So we, the first thing we acknowledged was that we needed to in order to reach a generation that we're a part of and relating to, use the platforms that people are on every day. So we made an Instagram account, and we posted about it on our Instagram stories, and we got 100 followers in one day, which neither of us really expected. So then we started posting little things that are about the show and little clips of songs, and people were kept DMing us and I want to be on crew, when are auditions, can I help with costumes? And so we really didn't expect it to take this much interest, but now we have a cast.
It's been really amazing how much support we've gotten, I think, from so many people. When it started, we were kind of very doubtful of ourselves, I feel and now so many people, and we had our first rehearsal recently, and just the support that we've gotten from the cast and from people who've heard our songs, it's been really cool.
That's awesome. And what are some roadblocks you guys run into?
So, unfortunately, we still have one character that is written into the show that we don't have someone to play. So the biggest roadblock for us, I think, was finding guys who were interested in auditioning for our show, because we had a lot. So we had about 30-ish auditions, and the process was online. So we watched their videos and they filled out a Google form. But we've only had 5. We have 4 guys who have been casted, and we're still looking for a 5th. But we might end up rewriting some things to work around that character not being there. So that's definitely one thing that we're still working on.
Save our show, email us.
And where can someone sign up to help with the show?
You can reach us on Instagram, or we have a Facebook page, just Gen Z Musical, or our email, genzmusical@gmail.com, which is in the bio of our Instagram.
What do you guys plan to do with theater after this?
I think that depends on how this show goes. I mean, if it keeps going in the direction that it's going, it's been really positive so far. So hopefully we'll continue to do more shows together and maybe continue writing. But it really depends on the success of this one and if people end up liking it or not.
Yeah. And in your future, do you think you'll continue?
I think it's the same. I think it depends.
Are you guys both involved in musical theater otherwise?
Yes, we actually met at theater camp at this little like showcase at the end of one summer, and then we didn't speak to each other for a few years because we didn't like know each other. But then we did Titanic the musical together in 2016. I don't remember either. And then so like we started getting like closer through that, and then we started just writing musicals. And I think being a part of theater, watching like directors and producers and musical directors and like literally everyone has really influenced, how we approach our directing process and our musical process. And I think if we both, weren't involved in theater like that, we would not be where we are today.
And what was like the beginning of this process? Like when did it start?
So last November, Annika told me to meet her for coffee at Omi's, and I, got like a shy, and then I went upstairs, and I sat at the table, and she was like, literally, I've called you here for a meeting. And I'm like, okay. So she pulls out her iPad, and I see this Google Doc with just these lists of things about our generation, like TikTok and like slime and ASMR, and Fortnite dancing. And I was like, are we going to write a musical about this? And she's like, yes. So we were like, okay, all right, cool. So then we went home, and we could, over the next few months, we kept like meeting up and talking about it. We were like, oh my god, this is like super cool. And then songs started happening, and then in December, we're like, all right, we got to get serious. So we wrote out like a 6-month plan, which we've adhered to pretty well.
Yeah.
Actually, it's like over now. Like we're done with the 6-month plan.
Yeah, we need a new like 3-month plan.
Yeah. So yeah, it was actually surprisingly easy to write this.
Yeah. We wrote it pretty quickly. We wrote it over the course of
concerningly quickly, but it's fine.
How many months? Like 2.
3 months, but that's because a few of the songs were already written, so that took away.
Yeah, we like stole some of the songs from our mini musicals that we'd already written and like changed the words and some things about them.
Yeah.
It sounds like a pretty humorous show. Do you guys also discuss any serious issues?
We do. I mean, briefly, we want it to be a pretty light-humored show, and we want people to laugh at it, and they have, for the most part, at rehearsal processes, which we were really happy about. But we do mention and talk about some things. A lot of the themes in the show center around social media and like pros and cons and how that's influenced our generation.
And has your age impacted how you're treated or the process of this making this musical at all?
Yeah, so we were worried at the beginning about like not being taken as seriously by the cast and by people who we pitch our ideas to. And we, at the first rehearsal on Sunday, we told the cast that we would like to be treated with the same respect as like a high school show or a community theater show would be. And so far, they've all been really good about like emailing us if they're not going to be there and letting us know and taking the production seriously, which is really good for us.
Our age also, came in positively because while writing the script, a lot of the conversations between characters and their like relationships and personalities came easily because it's like these are conversations that we would have with people. Some of the conversations are conversations we have had. We just put it in the script.
Do you know when it's going to be like released, coming out, people can actually go see it?
Yeah, so it's happening August 16th and 17th in Brunswick at the Curtis Memorial Library where my mom works. They have a presentation meeting room that they can set up a staging for us. And yeah, we're going to be performing there at 7 o'clock.
That's awesome. Can people just come and buy tickets?
Yeah, I think we're going to have it be by donation, probably.
What advice would you give to someone in your position?
So I remember, I think it was one of the first days that we were planning this, or maybe when we were writing out our 6-month plan. I told Nick, like, listen, I know for a fact that there's going to be like some days and times when this isn't going to seem like it's going to happen, but I feel like we just need to stick with it, and we're going to make it happen. Like, I promise we're going to make it happen. And I think going into the process with that attitude has really helped us to like keep going even when we don't have all the parts filled, or yeah.
Who's inspired you?
Well, I think, true, the title, the generation of Gen Z has inspired us with all of their, action against, like, issues, the protests and rallying, and their power through social media.
That's awesome.
And I think the idea of that power really comes through in our musical, like rallying together to create something or stand for something.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having us. Remember to follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Gen Z Musical, or you can email us at genzmusical@gmail.com.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.